I gotta see my family by punching him in the face, and ain't no problem. What he gonna do? Give me a black eye? What he gonna do? Give me a bloody nose? What he gonna do? Break a rib? Make me cry? Oh my, oh my, oh my.
How did Keith Thurman get a shot before Jaron Ennis? How did Keith Thurman get a world title fight, right? The fight with Eddie Stanionis is a WBA regular world title shot. How did Keith Thurman get it? Well, because it's a name. Boxing is about names. That's what it's about now. A guy like Jaron Ennis, tough young fighter. One may say he's too damn good for his own good. He ain't built up a big enough name for these guys to look. Built up a big enough name for these guys to look his direction. But how did Keith Thurman, who's been so inactive, right? Once upon a time, about time, right? So many different nicknames came for Keith Thurman over the years, ever since he was once upon a time called One Time. But how did he get a shot at Diamante Stanionis? How did he not have to face Jaron Ennis? Let's see what Timothy Bradley had to say.
Out of these two fights, Tim, that we're talking about here, are you along with Chris? Are you liking the Stanionis Thurman fight?
I love the Stanionis, but I just don't understand why Boots keeps getting overlooked. That's a problem, man. Boots keep getting overlooked, but I can just tell you this: like, everybody's probably wondering how does Thurman be able to get himself in position like that? He's a brand. He's paid his dues. You know,
but he never fights, Tim.
But I understand that. But you understand, like, boxing is different now. Okay, it's all about name recognition. That's what it's about now. It's about name recognition. It's about dollars. And the belts are definitely being depleted now. Like Polly was saying, they're meaningless. Or I should say, Chris was saying, they're meaningless now. You know, if you have a name, if you can bring in and pack the seats, dude, you can fight. It doesn't matter. You know, promote.
Hey, and I mean, really, that's kind of what it is right now. That's kind of what it is, right? And it's on Pro Box TV, by the way. Salute to Pro Box TV. That's kind of what it is, man. You know, we can want the best to fight the best all we want to. But at the end of the day, man, a guy like Keith Thurman, he ain't go, if he don't want to fight Jaron Ennis, he ain't gonna fight Jaron Ennis. He'll rather take an easier fight for Diamante Stanionis and get that WBA regular title. That's what he'll rather do, right? That's what Keith Thurman would rather do than deal with Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis, I don't know, man. Let's see what else Timothy Bradley had to say.
Now are not looking at fighters because of how talented they are. They're saying, how many followers does he have? You know, is he active on social media? That's what they're looking for. Can he fight a little bit? Can we protect him? You know, does he have a little bit of skills? You know, that's what promoters are looking for. But back in the days, they were looking for guys that were skillful, guys that were dominant, guys that could take over the sport. You know, so it's a little different now. But I do like the matchup between Stanionis and Thurman. Both of these guys have been inactive. I think this is a 50-50 fight. I think Stanionis can win this fight. I think Keith Thurman can win this fight. If Keith Thurman is going to win this fight, it's going to be with his legs. Stanionis is going to have to put the pressure on him, get in the inside, and bang him down to the body. We know that's where Keith Thurman is weak. So, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing it, man. I think it's a good matchup. Both guys need I think they need each other, to be honest with you. But again, if Boots was in the equation, it'd be even better.
Now, the Stanionis fight will be a great fight, right? But both guys been on for a while. I mean, it's right up Keith Thurman's alley. You know, I guess Keith Thurman is looking at it like, you know what? It's almost like a tune-up. It's almost like a tune-up for Keith Thurman. But look, man, this name brand thing, right? This name brand thing, man. It's all about the names now, right? Whether we like it or not, you guys. This is the reality of the situation, is that this stuff is about the name branding. Names want to fight names. Jaron Ennis didn't quite make up a name, even though one may say he's more popular than, actually, I would say yes, he is definitely more popular than Diamante Stanionis. However, Diamante Stanionis have something to offer, a WBA regular title. However, let's say this: one may say the regular WBA title is equivalent to the interim IBF welterweight title. It's equivalence. It's the same thing. So I don't know what's good, bro. It's politics, man. Really, at the end of the day, politics comes into play. Like right now, Canelo Alvarez fighting Jaime Munguia, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure the angle with a Munguia fight, right? When we talking name brand, when we talking name recognition, one may say Crawford has a bigger name in the sport of boxing as a whole than Jaime Munguia, despite Jaime Munguia being a Mexican fighter. Crawford is a much bigger name in the sport, much more proven name in the sport. And it'll be a much more intriguing fight, how despite the weight size difference, right? I don't know what's good, but this is just a part of the politics of the game of boxing, you guys. I mean, we ain't got to like it, but it's just the reality of it. A guy like Jaron Boots Ennis, very extremely talented young fighter. But like I told you guys, man, he got to put in the work. He got to put in some more work. And what I mean by putting in some more work, he got to get out here and talk. Be active on social media. Build his brand. That's what he got to do, man. It's all about name branding. And when you're a fighter that's really, really that good, man, you can't just be quiet, bro. Ask Terrence Bud Crawford. This is why guys like Keith Thurman is maneuvering through. And he got the gift of gab, not to mention, right? Keith Thurman is a dude with the gift of gab. He talks. He's really, he's pretty clever on the mic, right? Keith Thurman is really, really clever on the microphone and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? So, he's real clever on the microphone, Night,
night. Ooh, boy. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Don't blink. Don't blink. Get him, champ. Hit him, champ. Get him, champ.
Keith Thurman brings that energy, right? We haven't seen it in the ring, but he brings that energy. Jaron Boots Ennis is a much, much more just chill, mild-mannered guy. Ain't really bring you that energy. Ain't gonna really say nothing that's gonna be too witty. Nothing that's clever. Keith Thurman, despite him not being in the ring for a long time, Timothy Bradley is right. He's a brand. Now, if that brand is still relevant, well, I leave that up to you to decide. Keith Thurman hasn't been in the ring in quite a while. Keith one-time Thurman hasn't been in the ring in quite a while since his fight with Mario Barrios. Guess what? Mario Barrios, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, fought twice since his fight with Keith one-time Thurman. And yet and still, Keith Thurman is still able to maneuver, still be one of the top fighters ranked in the sanctioned bodies, despite his inactivity in sport. Why? Because it's a name brand that he built. Right? But once upon a time, man, it's starting to become once upon a time. It's once upon a time. Boots Ennis got to build his brand up, man. It's all about name branding. Right? Guys like Terrence Bud Crawford is looking at guys like Canelo Alvarez. Right? Guys like Bud is looking at Canelo Alvarez. Jamel Charlo, fights that mean something, fights with a name behind them. This is what boxing is today, you guys. And if it just so happens that guy with the name is one of the best fighters, then that's just the extra. That's just the bonus. But really, it's about the name recognition, man. Ask Crawford what it's like to go through boxing without fighting guys with quote unquote the names. You these tough ass dudes you fighting get labeled bums because nobody knows who these dudes are. It's all about names, right? It's about name recognition. And Jaron Boots Ennis, unfortunately for him, he gonna have to build up his name more, man. He just fought his first main event, if I'm not mistaken, against Raymond Villa, right? If I'm not mistaken, that was his first main event headlining card, right? Almost 30 fights in. I mean, these dudes looking at it like, man, this dude ain't really, that's just what the reality of it, man. Boots fans ain't gonna want to hear that shit, but that's the truth. Crawford had to go through with it. When he had to do, start talking shit, calling dudes out, come out of his comfort zone a bit, right? But it's about the names nowadays, man. When a fighter makes it to a certain point, really, realistically, you guys, it's about the money. Whether you want to hear it or not, that's what it boils down to. The money, right? It'll be a long, drawn-out process like Spencer Crawford was. It'll be a long, drawn-out process. But over that time, ex-fighter could be building his name, building his brand. Jaron Boots Ennis, that's what he needs to do. This is why guys like Keith Thurman still able to leapfrog right over and get a fight with Stanionis. Really, realistically, Stanionis and Boots should be fighting each other. And Keith Thurman should be fighting somebody else. Right? But due to name branding, Keith Thurman is able to maneuver, leapfrog over guys like Jaron Boots Ennis and get world title shots. And then more than likely, he'll still be able to get a shot at Terrence Crawford if the sanctioned bodies pressure Bud and Bud decide to stay at welterweight for any capacity of time. They would likely enforce a fight with Keith Thurman before a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis, man. Yeah, that's just the reality of it, bro. Harsh reality. Of course, Terrence Crawford has to deal with this Errol Spence Jr. rematch at 154 pounds. We'll see how that fight plays out. We really don't know what's going to happen in boxing, though, right? Everything is subject to change. Crawford may very well say, you know what, I'm going to just let these belts go and stay at 154. You know, go after Tim Tszyu or something. After, you know, he do what he do with Errol Spence Jr. So, yeah, you guys, that's the video, man. Keith one-time Thurman able to leapfrog his way through simply because of the name that he's built up over the years. Despite the inactivity, Keith Thurman is still able to find himself in position. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.